hope you're doing well. Um, Listen, I just want to take a moment and I had something that kind of touched my heart this week. It made me kind of just think about certain certain things that you do and the issue of goodness. Like David said in Psalm 16 and verse 2 that I have no good besides you, speaking to the Lord. And I just want you to consider that for a moment. I heard recently of a person that dedicated or donated their kidney to another person out of the kindness of their heart, and it fell into place. That they were a perfect match. They felt, uh, and certainly that's an overwhelmingly good thing. And I would never want to question the motives of another person, but it did make me think because it was so publicized and well known on the internet, and so many people were following it. And there's so much of this today, people that do things and let everybody know, and it's almost as if you know our goodness has to be displayed for others to approve of. But how do you know that the good that you're doing is truly God's goodness? Now, I believe that every good act that God appreciates, and any goodness that comes is God. And in other words, God created the very aspect of kindness and goodness to be shown to another person. I'm not denying any of that. But how do I know that the goodness that I do, that my motives are proper? And I think that David kind of hit upon it here. And then there's some verses in Matthew chapter 6 that speak to this. And it is this, that first and foremost, God is the one that we recognize in what we do. Like, this is why I'm doing it. The why is a big, big issue. Not for the approval of others, not so that thousands or hundreds of thousands or millions of people will see it and recognize it, but for Him. And secondly, in Matthew chapter 6, if it's for Him, then I don't really need the applaud of mankind. I may or may not get it, but that's not the point of what I do. It's not what I'm looking for. I'm not seeking that. It's not what makes the action all the more pleasant, because truthfully, you may receive recognition today and you may receive animosity, hatred tomorrow. That's just the way our world works. And people that receive a great deal of recognition typically are also the recipients of a great deal of animosity at some point later. So we shouldn't let our right hand know what our left hand's doing. And the good that we do just as the Lord, for the majority of His ministry, said, don't tell anybody. This is an act that's being done before God, my Father. You don't have to make a big display of it. Not that the word didn't get out, but that wasn't His point. His point was doing what the Father asked Him to do before the Father alone. And if mankind was the recipient of it or even viewed it, what we do know is that when people did view it, they typically took it in the wrong way. For example, in John chapter 6, they viewed the multiplication of the bread and the fishes, but what did they do with it? They followed Him for the wrong reasons. And as a result, many, because of the challenge, went back and followed Him no more in verse 63 of that chapter. Look, if we want our good to be good that God recognizes, number one, it has to be the why of what we do has to be, God, I love you. I'm going to do this because I love you. And I'm going to direct it towards another person. David goes on to say that his goodness is not directed towards himself, but to the saints which are on the earth. I'm going to direct it towards a creature created in your very image. I'm going to recognize you. And then lastly, I'm not looking for a lot of approval for what I do. I just want to do it before God. And you know what? God in heaven sees what we do in private. And as it says there in Matthew 6, he rewards us openly. Till next time, friends, have a good day. Be a good person today. God bless you.